I want to say one more thing about the email inbox that's really important. How many leads did you miss potentially with 8,000 emails? Or how many times did a client reach out and you missed an opportunity to be supportive just because that inbox was so overwhelming? And those are the things to consider too. It's not just the time that you're spending, it's what you're missing.
You work hard in your business. On the Profit by Design podcast, we ask the big question: what has your business done for you lately? Hi, I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling, the business psychologist, the author of How to Hire the Best, and your co-host on the Profit by Design podcast. Weekly, my co-host, Mike Bruno, and I bring you tips, tools, and strategies from our own experiences and from the experiences of our guests, who are entrepreneurial thought leaders and real-life entrepreneurs, all to support you in making intentionally profitable and sustainable business decisions to live the lifestyle you desire. Profit designers, are you ready to take your life back from your business? If so, I invite you to join us in the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook community that we've started at Tap the Potential. Chances are, if you have a growing business, you're paying a team, and you still feel like you're having to do it all. It shouldn't be this way. Work should support life, not the other way around. And at Tap the Potential, we support entrepreneurs like you in designing sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. In our Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook group, I'm sharing with you lots of tips, tools, and strategies to support you in a business that gives you your life back. When you join our community, you will get access to exclusive mini trainings from me, including the Better Business, Better Life Jumpstart, as well as the How to Hire the Best Jumpstart. These free trainings are available only to the members of the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook community. There's no charge to join. I would love to see you there and get to know more about you. To join us, go to tapthepotential.com/group. That's tapthepotential.com/group. Profit designers, are you overwhelmed with all the things on your to-do list? Well, if so, you need to tune in today because I have someone very special joining me. This is Melissa Swire, who's coming on for a discussion today. Melissa is my executive assistant, and not for long, because she's actually moving up with us at Tap the Potential. I want to bring Melissa in today and share with you all the ways that an executive assistant can make a huge difference in your life as an entrepreneur. We talk a lot on the Profit by Design podcast about focusing your time on $10,000 an hour activities. Having an executive assistant allows you that opportunity to do that. I think today you're going to have your eyes opened for what can be taken off your plate. When you work with an executive assistant, it's not just that person takes things off your plate. They are really forward thinking for you. They're a strategic partner, and you're going to hear that in our conversation today. Melissa has a tremendous insight into how to teach us entrepreneurs to let go so that we can really grow our teams and have the opportunity to work from our strengths. Melissa is the founder of The Servant-Hearted CEO. She's co-founder of the nonprofit Patriots Cove and the Elizabeth Dole Fellow for the state of Pennsylvania. She helps entrepreneurs maximize executive assistant relationships so that together they can get their lives back. Her course and coaching program, the Servant-Hearted CEO Executive Assistant Certification, prepares executive assistants to support business leaders remotely, ending overwhelm and freeing up their time to do the things they love. Melissa is on a mission to bring financial stability to disabled military veteran families. For every course sold, one is given to a military caregiver, and together we make an impact.
Profit designers, at Tap the Potential, we are on a mission right now to be a positive force in social media during trying times for all of us entrepreneurs. In that regard, I would love it if you could help us out. We really want to get behind any of you who are doing good things in your communities, showing up and leading with love. If you are doing something to keep your team together during this time and you're sharing it in social media, or you come across another entrepreneur who is being a gift from their gift in some way that you notice, please use the hashtags Lead with Love and Be a Gift. Our team at Tap the Potential is on the lookout in social media for those hashtags, and we will be reposting those social media posts from the Tap the Potential social media. Let's all lead with love, be a gift, and shine bright during these trying times.
So Melissa, welcome to the Profit by Design podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on.
So for those of you who don't know Melissa, she is my executive assistant at Tap the Potential, and she has been such an integral part of the podcast for over the last year. I mean, you've scheduled all our guests, that you interact with people, you get people ready. So you have been just behind the scenes, and now you're even part of making sure the show notes are reviewed and part of getting our email blast out. So there's so many pieces of the podcast that you touched, and it's really, I'm so excited to have you here on the podcast. And we have a very important topic to discuss today, and that is how to make your life better by having an executive assistant. I personally believe every business owner needs an executive assistant. And I have been in business for 15 years, and it's just within the last year that I've had an executive assistant. So I was slow to learn. I hope that other entrepreneurs who are listening, it doesn't take you 14 or 15 years to figure this out for yourself after you hear what Melissa and I talk about today. So Melissa, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about why you are so passionate about executive assistants and the work that you do, because you really show up, you are love. I mean, that is your energy that you radiate, and you're very passionate about how you support not just me, but our whole team. And you're also passionate about teaching others how to become executive assistants. So I want to give you just some time to talk about why are you so passionate about this?
Well, thank you for that. Bringing tears to my eyes already. I have over 25 years experience in the corporate world. I've been a director of operations. I did that for 18 years. My husband got injured in Iraq, and I had to find a way to work from home. And I did that for a while via Etsy. And I had an Etsy shop that actually ranked in the top 1% worldwide, which is really cool. And the business was great, but it just consumed my life. And the whole reason for creating the business was to have a business that supported my life. So I think we got connected by one of our team members, Amy, at the beginning of last year. And I switched roles, pivoted my entire business, and decided to become your executive assistant. So when you and I got together, it was new for me too. And I just fell in love with you and Tap the Potential. And I think they call me the cheerleader on the team. I just love our immutable laws and everything that we're about. And gosh, we've just grown so much since then. And I just saw the opportunities for what this could benefit my community in the military. So the executive assistant role is so important to me because it embodies everything that our military community is about. So I am very passionate about sharing what I do for you and how other people can do the same if they just simply have the soft skills that they need to do it. And I really bring a lot of uniqueness to the table because I have been that business owner and the leader in a corporate setting, and also the EA on the other side. So I understand what both sides of the table need to push the business forward and to make your life easier.
Yes, and you definitely make my life so much easier. So I want to give a little more context of Melissa and her life and what she's dedicated to. So you are so involved in the military caregiver community. And part of why you're so passionate about
EAs is because it's an opportunity for people who have the right skills for this, who are at home needing to, and they've had to leave high-level jobs sometimes in the corporate world to care for their military spouse. And so, and especially since COVID has happened, we are seeing a huge transition with people understanding that there's lots of ways to work virtually and to have virtual team members. And it's created this opportunity for military caregivers to become EAs. And so you've got a training program that you are, and I'm so grateful that you have it, because we have so many business owner clients at Tap the Potential who, when they hear me talk about an EA, they're like, I want an EA. Can I talk to Melissa? We need EAs. And so Melissa is training EAs now. And so it's just a beautiful opportunity, I think, to serve entrepreneurs in a wonderful way, and also to support the military caregiving community. Your husband and you have Patriots Cove. So I want you to talk about Patriots Cove too, because Melissa she's part-time at Tap the Potential. We're all part-time at Tap the Potential. Her presence never feels part-time. I mean, I feel your presence everywhere. And I want to paint this picture that you really have a very full life away from Tap the Potential. So talk a bit about what you do at Patriots Cove too.
Thank you. At Patriots Cove, I need to share just a snippet of the backstory. My husband was hurt in Iraq. And when that happened, our life changed immediately. We lost everything. We had the perfect life. Unfortunately, it was just before his full-time retirement. So there were physical implications of a surgery done at Walter Reed, and he almost died. So while he is going through this and we're selling our home and moving our lives upside down, I had just started the business. So I went from a very cushy life, very beautiful home, to losing everything in the fear that I was going to lose my husband. So we struggled with that. We also struggled with PTSD, and we moved to his hometown in Pennsylvania, and I bought some land for him to hunt and fish on to give him a refuge. And when he saw it, he said, I'm going to share this. I have a new mission and a new purpose now. We opened that property, the 18-acre property, which has a trout stream that is now thriving and fully restored, to veterans, first responders, and their caregivers. And the caregiver program is so important to me because I went through this completely alone. Nobody told me how to be a caregiver. Nobody told me how to deal with PTSD or his physical wounds, and even how to advocate for him, much less the work, business, life balance of it all. So when we opened 4 years ago, we are a full 501c3 nonprofit. And now this April, we are launching our caregiver house, which will include an entrepreneurship center and activities building. And we are partnered with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation to do that. I'm the fellow for the state of Pennsylvania. And through the course, we are giving opportunities for military caregivers to go through the EA course for free to them. They're going to get 3 months of group training with me and some other guest experts. And when they're done, they're going to have an opportunity to have a career that supports their life, which is what we're at Tap the Potential are all about.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's such a touching story. And I've seen pictures that you've shared on Facebook of the retreats that you've had there. And I just see the healing happening for people in that setting, and the care and the connection that they feel. So in running retreats at Tap the Potential, I'm such an advocate for the value of community, and that feeling that I know you've been through this with your husband, where you guys felt like you were alone in what you were struggling with. And when you can connect with others who have similar struggles and you realize you are not alone, it's such a valuable healing experience.
It really is. Thank you. And, the Tap the Potential team is very supportive as well. And one thing that we create within our team, we have a support network. I just went through a loss in my family, and you and the team were there to just pick right up and support me through that. And the beauty of it is, I know COVID has been difficult for so many people, but there are lots of opportunities, and business owners are realizing that we can work remotely, and it is allowing you to bring more A players into your team. And by you, Dr. Sabrina, giving me the opportunity to attend appointments at the VA whenever my husband needs me, that makes me show up to work so happy and engaged, and it makes me want to be there. And that's why you always have me.
Oh,
I always feel that connection to you because you support that. And that's the most important thing in my life. So we definitely walk our talk. It's very evident.
It's so that piece that you're speaking to is so important to me because I feel blessed to have a business that's given me my life back. I've worked really hard over 8 years to get that there. And I so appreciate our team. When I go out on vacation, even if I'm gone for a couple of days, I really have a strong message. Just go, Sabrina, we've got this. And I want everyone on our team to have that feeling. Just go, Melissa. Be with your family, be with your husband, take care of the people that you love, because that's what this is all about. It's not about work. It's really about how work gives us life. And I know for myself, when I come back from those days off or things that I do with my family, I'm ready to go 100%. I hear you speaking that too, that it's just like, okay, now I can be here fully present. So let's talk a little bit about how you came into my world. And so we're real clear. Melissa was totally new to being an EA. I was totally new to having an EA. I had heard about it. I had an intellectual idea that it could be a wonderful thing to have an EA. And at the same time, I really had no idea. I think of the fears that come up for us immediately as business owners is how can somebody know so many things that are important? Like I have important people that email me. How can an EA sort out which emails are important for me to pay attention to? How can someone manage my calendar? They don't know what choices or decisions I would make. So, and do I really want someone responding in my email on my behalf? What if they say something that offends somebody or, what if they say they're not polite enough or, they don't strike the right tone? So I had all of those fears. And the other thing is when I brought you on, I was so overwhelmed. I didn't have time to hire you, which is exactly what I teach in How to Hire the Best is don't wait to that point that you're so overwhelmed that you have to hire because you don't have the mental space. And so I went to Amy and on our team, and I told her I need to get me an EA. And I said, Amy, I'm going to delegate this to you because I don't have time to do it. Would you please look out in your network and see? And I gave qualities that I was looking for. I said, I'm looking for someone who will lead with love. And we didn't have that term. You came onto our team and helped us develop that immutable law, but it was that feeling of leading with caring and just helping our clients to feel a sense of ease and confidence in us when they interact with us. And I said, I need someone who's organized, who's got great communication skills and just will keep things going. And I said, but Amy, mostly what I need is somebody who will help me learn this and we're going to learn it together. And so I went away for 4 weeks. I came back. Amy said, I've got somebody for you who I think is the perfect person. And she had interviewed you and you were starting. I mean, that was it. It wasn't even, Dr. Sabrina, is this okay? Because I had totally delegated it to Amy. And it was Dr. Sabrina, meet Melissa. She's your new EA. And we got off the ground running in that way. And the other thing that I really want to clarify is that my schedule at the point that we brought you on was such a nightmare. I would be in one Zoom meeting from another back to back. I had no lunch breaks. I would have, 15 minutes if I was lucky in between calls. But a lot of times, because once I'm on a call with someone, if they need to go longer, of course, we're going to take the extra time. So I had no buffer time in my calendar. I was having to work early in the morning on my writing for books because there wasn't time blocked in my calendar for that. So I was just in meeting after meeting after meeting. Even though I was working part-time, the hours that I had blocked for work, they were just jam-packed and I would be totally exhausted at the end of my day. So I'm going to stop there and let you talk about what did you see when you came on?
So I'd like to preface this so that people don't get afraid with the fact that you took a 7-week vacation. I believe it was 7 weeks last year. Mm-hmm. And I don't think many people knew you were gone. And I never had to reach out to you once. So let's set the stage with that. Honestly, when I came on, I was scared to death because you had 8,000 emails in your inbox. Now, I'm sure that was scary for you as well.
So it was not scary. I was so over email, like 8,000. I was just like, I'll never get through all that email. I just wasn't, I had glazed over. Like that was the email burnout. I had gone over the precipice.
So I think that it took us about 3 months to have a really good cadence. And that's going to look differently for everyone and what works in their business. But the best thing that I believe we did, and we started this right in the very beginning, was have one-on-one meetings. And we really got to know each other very well. And it took a little time for me to know our clients and which emails to respond to. But I just simply asked you, and you were very open to responding and telling me what to do with those emails. And at first we started using Slack, and then we moved over to Voxer. And Voxer worked so much easier for us both. And, now I think you may spend 5 or 10 minutes a day in your email. And a lot of times I just know how to answer those emails. And then we worked on your calendar. So the first thing that you presented me with, which was extremely helpful, was with your ideal day. So if you want to share a little bit about what that looks like and how that got me organized and gave me the jump start that I needed.
Yeah. So I have to say that I did give Melissa my ideal day, my ideal week. And as I created that, I had all those gremlins in my head going, yeah, this is what you want, but there's no way that lady is going to be able to get your calendar to look like that. And so I was, but there was that part of me that just thought, everybody that I've talked to who's had an EA says they can do it. So I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that I'm not going to be the one that fails. But so I gave Melissa my ideal calendar, and within 3 months, we made significant progress towards me getting a lunch break. And I remember you would message me and you would say, okay, we didn't get a lunch break in for you today, so be sure to pack your lunch because you've got back-to-back meetings. But that was becoming less and less frequent. That would happen like once a week versus that's every day. There's no lunch break. And so that was the first thing that I started to notice is I had 30 minutes a day for lunch, which was a nice thing. But then the other thing that we started to do is buffer time. Like, what a novel concept. So there's time now at the end of my day for me to wrap up loose ends before I go pick up my kids, because that really, for me, is the worst thing, is to go 90 miles an hour all day long. And then to get to the end of the day, I've got to get to the kids before the school doors close and pick them up. And then we come home and I have to make that abrupt shift from mom entrepreneur or entrepreneur to mom and be present with them. So you started putting buffer time in my calendar. We end my days, I think it's 45 minutes at least before I have to go get the kids. In addition to that, I now have time in my calendar between meeting to-dos that come out of meetings. So I don't have things piling up for several days after being in back-to-back meetings for 2 or 3 days straight. And now I have all these things I need to do that I don't have time to get done. You've put buffer time in my calendar. And so one of the things that was so amazing to me is coming back from my 4-week vacation in January of this year, because it really was us honoring a year of working together and not being stressed, feeling like I have breathing room. And we are 2 months into the new year, and we have done some massive things at Tap the Potential in the last 2 months, including starting our Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook community, which Melissa is a huge part of that. And at no point have I felt like I've got too much on my plate. I can't handle all of this. It has just been like there's breathing room, and Melissa is so focused on making sure that I'm doing my critical things and nothing else. Like you have a term for it. I think you've said you're the bulldog with my schedule.
I'm the bouncer.
The bouncer. You're the bouncer on my schedule. And the other thing that you have done that is so helpful, and I came back from a vacation and I had this thought, like, I just wish I had 2 weeks to just really be able to dig into projects. And so we scheduled that. And then I realized, well, what if I did that all the time? What if I had every 2 weeks, I could just have focused project time? So, and this is one of the tips that we wanted to share with you all, is that it works really well to have a dedicated 2-week period to work on projects and really minimize meetings. It's, for me, to not have to bounce from working on something and going into a meeting and then working on something, especially when it comes to writing a book, just being able to sit and focus, or create courses and record courses like the How to Hire the Best and Leadership Bootcamp and Coach Approach. We record those courses ahead of time. So for me to be able to have that focus time to do that. And then I have 2 weeks on my calendar where I'm in meetings, where I attend our groups in the Better Business, Better Life program. I have meetings with our team members. I have client meetings that we have. And I have a flow, and I know what I'm doing during those weeks, and I'm able to be fully present with people. So Melissa, on your side of it, how have you managed that? Because you make it look so graceful and like it just flows. What's going on behind the scenes there?
So when we started and I looked at your ideal day schedule, I can remember putting it out on a spreadsheet. I mapped it out on the spreadsheet. I mapped it out on the calendar. And I just remember thinking, there is no way that we can do this. And then COVID hit. And I remember, I think I was about in tears one day, and I boxered you and you said, Melissa, this is probably not going to happen this year. And I just felt so destroyed. And I thought, we're still going to do this. By the time the next calendar year comes, we're going to have this in place. And we did. And now I don't even think about making sure you get a lunch break, because it's on the calendar and you always do. And as a matter of fact, I think we ended your work days on most days an hour earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We eliminated meetings on Mondays and Fridays. There's so many things that we did, and it's really not difficult. And I think part of that is by allowing me to schedule your appointments. I'm blocking appointments that you would say yes to. And that's huge.
For me, that is the biggest thing, is because I want anybody who wants to meet with me, I want to meet with them. Like, yeah, of course, I'll meet with you. And what I do in that instance is I'm totally disregarding my time and what I need. And so this has created a situation where Melissa is she's looking out for me. She's looking out for, yes, Dr. Sabrina is going to show up and she's going to be there for our clients that Tap the Potential, and Dr. Sabrina is going to take care of herself. So this has been, for me, really the greatest lesson in my own veggies first, how to take care of myself. The other piece, though, is the mental space that's freed up by having someone else schedule things for me. When somebody says, let's have a meeting, and then I have to go to my calendar and figure out, okay, we've got to shift time zones. I have to do that. And then we have to find a time that's going to work for both of us, and all the back and forth that goes in there. That's a lot of mental energy to just have one meeting. Melissa has a whole system for how you schedule meetings, even. Like, it's so streamlined.
Sure. So every Monday morning when you show up to work, you have a week ahead outlook on your calendar, and it has all of your meetings for the week. And if there's something you need to prepare for, it's in your calendar for you. I think we've even put, don't forget you have a speaking engagement. So take out this outfit or send it to the dry cleaners. We really get down to the nitty gritty, because that frees up your space to do the things that you need to be doing. And I can hear a total difference in the tone. I pick up on this. Your energy is so exciting when those are not stressors in your life. So the way that I create your calendaring with ease, and I might be giving a little bit of my secret sauce away here, but I start each day on your calendar with daily notes. And that has all of your meetings for each day. And then I combine those over into weekly notes. If something's pending, I want you to know that on Monday morning. And if anything changes, I just shoot you a Voxer and we just keep flowing. But I already have the blocks for your buffer times. Those are already in your calendar. You already have times to work on meeting projects and notes after some of your meetings. And then we block your day off by a certain time. So that makes things easier. And then I actually pop in available appointment times. So if you need to go in and schedule an appointment without me for any reason, which is very rare, you can just grab that time and not have to take the time to communicate with me to say, hey, can I take this time, or is something coming up? And also, when you do go to your calendar, the links are already there. We use Dropbox a lot. We use our project management tools such as Asana. All you have to do is pop those things open. So it is freeing up a lot of time that you would have to think and figure things out for yourself.
Yeah. And just an example on the podcast, when we do podcast recordings on Fridays. On Fridays, you have podcast notes in there, and there's a link to the guest's information in our Dropbox. And you also put it into the calendar appointment. So I see everything there right in front of me. I am not searching all over in the cloud looking for, did we get that guest photo? Do we have their bio? And it's just all there. And so all that extra prep work is done for me, which allows me to just show up and be prepared and be on point and ready to go. And, Melissa alluded to, notes telling me you have a speaking engagement, get your clothes. I mean, she tells me down to like, wear your blue shirt. That's what you need to wear for this meeting. And so it's all that little stuff that I don't have to think about. And so when we are talking to our clients at Tap the Potential, they're entrepreneurs, they're busy. When they start with us, oftentimes they're working 70 to 90 hours a week. And in order for us to make a difference for an entrepreneur at Tap the Potential, we have to get them mental space. If they don't have mental space, they can't utilize anything that we're teaching them in the Better Business, Better Life program. And so one of the easiest places to make that inroads is to look at the $10,000 an hour chart of activities and say, okay, here's where the most valuable use of your time is in the business. And when you're doing all these other things that take up way more of your time than you realize, you are not having the opportunity to do that higher level work. So if you can let go of those activities that are not valued at $10,000 an hour for your time, then you can focus where you're going to have the greatest impact. And so there's so many things that we entrepreneurs hang on to because we convince ourselves nobody else can do it as good as me. Nobody else can respond to all my emails as well as I can. Well, I can tell you, Melissa responds better than I can to the emails. And things happen because she's in there in my email. If it were waiting on me, it would be 3 weeks before I would be getting back to somebody because there were 8,000 emails there. So things are being handled a lot more effectively. And so when I think about our entrepreneurs and our Better Business, Better Life program, and something that is so easy that would have such a great impact, the very first thing is to hire an EA. And so I want to talk a little bit about some of the misconceptions or the fears that are out there around hiring an EA. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions is, I don't have a virtual business, Sabrina. How can somebody who's not in my same building support me? So Melissa, how does that work?
Sure. So I want to say one more thing about the email inbox that's really important. How many leads did you miss potentially with 8,000 emails? Or how many times did a client reach out and you missed an opportunity to be supportive just because that inbox was so overwhelming? And those are the things to consider too. It's not just the time that you're spending, it's what you're missing. So with that said, it is so much more effective sometimes within some businesses to have remote work. I had a business with employees and when I ran preschools, and I can remember just on Sundays, we've talked about this before, that panic attack, sleepless Sundays is what we call it, but is everyone going to show up tomorrow? And there's so many ways that an EA can support you and secure ways. So I do so many other things for you than your email and your calendaring. I pay bills and I don't have access to all of the account information, but we share information through LastPass, which is a great tool to use to share login information with a remote team member without divulging all of those important passwords. Now, there are some things that do require a level of just confidence in that person. And I think that comes over time, so you can add on things later. I wasn't paying bills the first couple of months. I believe that came on after 60 or 90 days. But by me working remote for you, I think I get a lot of things done much faster than having all of the distractions in the office. So we use Google Suite, and we are able to share all of our files and documents together. We use Dropbox. I mentioned LastPass, our project management tool is all virtual. So we're seeing these responses in real time. One thing that we do as a team that I think has been so beneficial is we have weekly huddles, and we meet every single Monday. And on Monday, it's an opportunity for us to inspire one another, because sometimes when we show up, we're not always happy and smiling, but usually I think 95% of the time, everyone leaves that huddle feeling refreshed and renewed. But during that time, it's an opportunity to share with each other things that we're working on and things that we need support with. And then Voxer is a tool that we really use. I think we kind of set a boundary last week in our Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook group on using Voxers at night on the weekend, because we will get so excited with a thought and then just start sharing it. But those are all tools that can work. And there's so many office environments that can use remote work, and they're already doing it now because of COVID. So this is a perfect opportunity to add more tools to your business to be able to continue this remote relationship.
Yeah. And the beauty of someone working remotely in your office is not somebody that you need to hire full time. So you can bring someone on a part-time basis and pay hourly. And you would be surprised at how much an EA can get done for you in a relatively short period of time in a week, because the EA is being very focused on those things that they're doing for you. When you're doing it, when I'm doing it myself, I feel like it takes me forever and it's so long, and it's because I'm bouncing from one thing to the next. And so it's that context switching that gets in there that makes me less effective. Melissa's way more effective with it because she can be focused on it and she can move it forward. So I know we have so much here that we want to talk about to support entrepreneurs in bringing an EA and making their life better with an EA. So we're actually going to do a second follow-up episode to this one. And one of the things that Melissa has created is a download that she wants to share with us on how to get started with an executive assistant. So Melissa, I want to give you the opportunity to talk about what's in this download for our Profit by Designers.
Sure. So in the download, you will have a template on how to create your ideal day. And even if you don't have an EA yet, I definitely encourage everyone to use this tool because it's very beneficial for yourself. The other thing is how to get started with your EA. What does that look like? And to map out everything that you're doing now. And I highly recommend you downloading the 10K an hour download and doing it in conjunction with this workbook, because you're going to start seeing all of the things that you're doing that are really holding your business back. And then finally, I'm pose the magic question. If you could wave a magic wand and you had an executive assistant to do these things for you, what would your life and your business look like 60 and 90 days from now?
Yeah, that's such a powerful question. So this download for how to get started with an executive assistant is available at tapthepotential.com/EA. And Melissa suggested getting started with this in conjunction with the How to Make Your Time Worth $10,000 an Hour training that I've done on the podcast. And you can get that at tapthepotential.com/10K. And as we get these materials together, we'll probably end up linking these two trainings together because they're so powerful. And I really want to encourage all of you to think about, if you're in our Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back community, and that's our Facebook community, and you get that invite when you come into the 10K at tapthepotential.com/10K, to really think about those permission slips. So permission slips are where you're giving yourself permission to really take your life back. When you start thinking about having an executive assistant, it is that first step to giving yourself permission that I'm going to start creating this business in a way that I have a life. And so we haven't even had a chance to really scratch the surface in all the ways that Melissa supports me, but she doesn't just support me in my work, she's also supporting me in my personal life. So Other things that an EA can do for you include, and I'm in the middle of a move to another state, and Melissa has a whole project organized for me to help me with my move. We're in the process of interviewing realtors right now to sell our house because I'm going to hire the best realtor to do this. And Melissa is helping me screen realtors to make the best decision. You monitor my email for things that come through that my kids would want to do and call those things out to me and bring them to my attention. So we have so much that we can share with you. So we're going to come back in the following week and do a follow-up episode and share more. And one of the things that we really are excited to get into is the fears around letting go and how to really let go and delegate effectively to an EA to take these things off your plate. So as we wrap up, I really just want to invite you to think about that powerful question that Melissa is asking. If we give you the magic wand and you can have an EA who is going to help you create your ideal schedule and follow that ideal schedule and protect that person who will protect your time, how will your life and your business be different 30 days from now, 60 days, 90 days out? What will that look like? So Melissa's download is at tapthepotential.com/EA. Melissa, I want to invite you to make a few closing comments here.
So I absolutely have enjoyed our conversation, and I'm curious to know, when you wave your magic wand next year, and we've come this far, what does that look like for you?
Wow.
The progress that we've made last year to this year, what more can we do?
So right now I have this huge block in front of me because I'm getting ready to move and I have to pack the house and get the house sold and all that. And so I just imagine like a year from now, I'm settled in to our new home. The kids are in their new school. They have friends. COVID has passed. So Melissa, you're going to be scheduling date nights for my husband and I, and you're going to help us schedule vacations where we can travel again. That's what I see a year from now.
And you can see that. I don't think you could have seen that a year and a half ago.
Oh, no.
And this transition will be much smoother. So having an EA is, I think, the first hire that any business owner should make. And I feel like Dr. Sabrina is just an extension of my life. It feels like family. And I just encourage our listeners to listen to the next episode and really consider how to hire their next executive assistant.
Yep. And that's also what we will be diving into in the next episode, is what qualities to look for. How do you hire the best EA? And by the way, Melissa is not taking more clients. She's got a full load, but she is in the process of training more EA. So I'm saying that because I've already hired the best EA. And she is mentoring and helping other EAs learn the ropes. And so that's been a beautiful thing. So we will see you back here a week and dive further into how to make your life better with an EA. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending time with us today. Join our conversation in the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook community at tapthepotential.com/group. Share your aha moments from today's episode, ask me questions, and join in on the fun with your fellow entrepreneurs on the journey to designing sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. And finally, share today's episode with a friend if you know a friend who would enjoy it. This is real life business. Keep your chin up, keep moving forward. You got this.